The massive space station called Nexus Prime floated in the darkness between stars. Inside its gleaming halls, representatives from dozens of alien species gathered for an emergency meeting. The air buzzed with tension as creatures of all shapes and sizes took their seats around the enormous circular table. Supreme Commander Thexvar of the Vorthak Empire stood tall on his powerful legs. His reptilian scales gleamed under the bright lights as he activated the holographic display in the center of the room. Images of star maps and fleet movements appeared in the air, rotating slowly for all to see. Fellow council members, Thexvar began, his voice echoing through the chamber. I have called this meeting to address a serious threat to galactic peace. The humans have become too bold in their expansion. They must be stopped before they claim more territory that rightfully belongs to established empires. Councillor Veltara of the Lumari shifted nervously. Her crystalline body caught the light and scattered it in rainbow patterns across the walls. Supreme Commander, the humans have been peaceful neighbors for over 30 years. What has changed? Thexvar pointed to the hologram with one clawed finger. Look at these numbers. In just 2 years, they have established colonies on 17 new worlds. 17. Their ships appear in systems we have claimed for generations. They build their cities and mining operations without asking permission from anyone. The gaseous Netherian representative, floating in his containment suit, spoke in his whistling voice. But those systems were marked as unclaimed territory according to our maps. Maps can be wrong, Thexvar snapped. The Vorthak Empire has patrolled those regions for decades. We simply had not yet established formal colonies there. The humans should have known better than to intrude. At the far end of the table sat Ambassador Hyunwoo Kim of Earth. Unlike the other representatives with their exotic appearances and advanced technology, he looked remarkably ordinary. He wore a simple dark suit and held a plain ceramic cup filled with tea. Steam rose gently from the cup as he listened to the debate with calm attention. Ambassador Kim called High Counselor Zephyrin of the Zephyrites. His insect-like mandibles clicked as he spoke. What does humanity say to these accusations? Hyunwoo set down his teacup with a soft clink against the saucer. He stood slowly and looked around the room at all the alien faces watching him. Honorable Council members, Earth's colonial expansion has followed all established galactic laws. Every system we have entered was properly surveyed and found to be unclaimed. We have filed all required paperwork with the appropriate departments. Thexvar's yellow eyes narrowed. Laws and paperwork mean nothing when facing superior military force. The Vorthak fleet will teach these upstart humans their proper place in the galaxy. A shocked silence fell over the chamber. Several council members began speaking at once, their various languages creating a cacophony of concern and disbelief. You cannot be serious, Veltara said, her crystal form flickering with agitation. The humans are a peaceful species. They have never shown aggression toward any council member. They show aggression through their expansion, Thexvar replied. Soon they will have bases throughout our territory. We must act now before they become too strong to stop. Ambassador Kim remained standing, his expression unchanged. He picked up his teacup again and took a small sip before speaking. Supreme Commander Thexvar, if I may ask, what exactly do you plan to do? The Vorthak Third Fleet will blockade your newest colonies. Your people will have 24 hours to evacuate before we begin orbital bombardment. This will continue until humanity agrees to withdraw from all disputed territories. The council erupted into arguments. Some species supported diplomatic solutions. Others worried about the precedent of attacking peaceful colonies. A few wondered if the Vorthak had the legal right to claim systems they had never actually occupied. Through all the noise and debate, Ambassador Kim stood quietly at his place. He finished his tea and set the empty cup back on its saucer. When the arguing died down, he cleared his throat gently. Supreme Commander, if you are determined to pursue this course of action, then I must inform you of something important. His voice remained calm and polite. Earth's Defense Command has asked me to pass along a message to any potential aggressors. The room fell silent. Every alien eye, sensor, and optical organ focused on the human ambassador. The message is simply, This humanity has been practicing. Confused murmurs rippled through the chamber. Thexvar tilted his massive head, clearly puzzled. Practicing what, human? Ambassador Kim smiled slightly. Everything, Supreme Commander. We humans have a saying, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. We have been hoping for peace throughout the galaxy, but we have also been preparing for other possibilities. Are you threatening the Vorthak Empire? Thexvar demanded, his scales bristling with anger. Not at all. I am simply fulfilling my duty to inform the Council of relevant facts. If you choose to attack human colonies, you will discover what we have been practicing all these years. Councillor Veltara leaned forward in her seat. Ambassador Kim, what exactly has humanity been doing during your expansion period? Learning, Councillor. Building, preparing, growing. Humans are naturally curious creatures. When we entered the galactic community 30 years ago, we studied everyone we met. We learned about your technologies, your strategies, your strengths and weaknesses. Most importantly, we learned about the history of galactic conflicts. He paused to look directly at Thexvar. We learned that peaceful species often become victims when more aggressive neighbors decide they want something. So we made sure that would never happen to humanity. Impossible, Thexvar scoffed. Your species has barely mastered space travel. The Vorthak have been building warships for 1,000 years. That is true, Supreme Commander, but we have been building something too. Every research station in our territory, every mining operation, every cargo ship moving between our worlds. All of it has been preparation for the day someone decided to test human resolve. The ambassador picked up his cup again, realized it was empty, and set it back down with another soft clink. If you attack our colonies, you will find them better defended than you expect. If you threaten our people, you will discover we are not as helpless as we appear. If you want a war with humanity, Supreme Commander, then you will get exactly what you ask for. Thexvar stood to his full height, towering over the smaller human. Your words mean nothing, Ambassador. In 3 days, the Vorthak Third Fleet will arrive at your Ross 128 colony. We will see how well your practice serves you then. Ambassador. Kim nodded politely. Very well, Supreme Commander. I will inform my government immediately. They will want to prepare a proper welcome for your fleet. As the council session ended and delegates began leaving for their ships, none of the aliens noticed the small smile on Ambassador Kim's face. They had no idea what humanity had been quietly building while they argued about territory and trade. Agreements. In 3 days, Supreme Commander Thexvar would learn the difference between confidence and arrogance. 3 months before the council meeting, Admiral Song Mi-Ray stood on the observation deck of Luna Defense Academy. Through the transparent aluminum windows, she could see Earth hanging in space like a blue and white marble. The sight never got old, even after 20 years of military service. Below her, in the massive training facility built inside an old lunar crater, thousands of human soldiers moved in perfect formation. They wore black uniforms with silver trim, their faces focused and determined. Today marked the graduation of the 47th Tactical Response Battalion, the latest group of defenders to complete humanity's most advanced military training program. Captain Lee Dong-hyuk approached with a data pad in his hand. His boots clicked softly against the metal floor as he stopped beside the Admiral. Ma'am, the final test scores are impressive. These recruits achieved 97% efficiency in zero-gravity combat simulations. Admiral Song nodded, her eyes still watching the ceremony below. And their teamwork scores? Even better. When fighting as coordinated units, their success rate jumped to 99.4%. The new neural link training is working perfectly. The Admiral finally turned away from the window. At 52 years old, she had dedicated her entire adult life to preparing humanity for this moment. Her gray hair was pulled back in a regulation bun, and her dark eyes held the weight of enormous responsibility. What about Fleet Command? How are Commander Park's exercises going? Captain Lee smiled. You'll want to see this report, Admiral. The Third Fleet completed the Titan run in record time. All 200 vessels maintained perfect formation during the combat maneuvers. No collisions, no communication failures, no tactical errors. Admiral Song took the data pad and scrolled through the numbers. The Titan run was humanity's most challenging fleet exercise, requiring ships to navigate through an asteroid field while under simulated enemy fire. Most alien navies considered a 70% success rate to be excellent. Humanity had just achieved 100%. Have the other species noticed our training activities? Our intelligence reports suggest they believe we're simply conducting scientific research and mining surveys. Director Shin's disinformation campaign has been very effective. On Mars, the red planet hummed with constant activity. Massive, industrial complexes stretched across the surface, their smokestacks reaching toward the thin atmosphere. Director Choi Yoonji walked through Factory Complex 7, watching automated assembly lines produce components for humanity's secret fleet. The robots worked without rest, welding hull plates and installing weapon systems with precision no biological worker could match. Each completed ship looked identical to the cargo vessels that carried supplies between human colonies. But hidden beneath their innocent exterior lay the most advanced military technology humanity had ever developed. Production. Report, Director Choi said to her assistant engineer Yoon Tae-ho. We're ahead of schedule, Director. Complex 7 completed its 200th vessel yesterday. Complexes 4 through 9 are producing at similar rates. By the end of the month, we'll have over 1,500 combat-capable ships disguised as civilian cargo haulers. Director Choi smiled with satisfaction. Mars had been transformed from a barely habitable research outpost into humanity's primary weapons manufacturer. The red dust that covered everything helped hide the true scope of their activities from alien surveillance satellites. What about the new shielding technology? Dr. Nam's team achieved another breakthrough last week. The quantum field generators are now 30% more efficient than our previous models. Any ship equipped with the new shields can absorb energy weapons fire that would destroy most alien vessels. In the asteroid belt, mining operations continued around the clock. But these weren't ordinary mining platforms. Hidden among the rocks and ice, humanity had built a network of supply depots and communication relays that spanned 3-star systems. Commander Yoon Tae-ho guided his inspection shuttle between 2 large asteroids. From the outside, they looked like natural space rocks covered in mining equipment. But sensors revealed the truth. Each asteroid had been hollowed out and converted into a military base capable of supporting 50 ships and their crews. Status report on Base Echo 7. He called to his communications officer. All systems operational, Commander. Food supplies for 6 months, ammunition for extended combat operations, and full repair facilities for damaged vessels. The camouflage systems are working perfectly. Even close-range scans show only mineral deposits and mining robots. Commander, Yoon nodded. Humanity had learned from studying galactic history. Every successful military campaign required secure supply lines and hidden bases. While alien species focused on building impressive fleets and massive space stations, humans had quietly created an invisible network of support facilities. Back on Earth, the planet's surface appeared peaceful and unchanged. Cities bustled with normal civilian activity. Farms produced food for the growing colonial population. Universities taught students about art, science, and philosophy. But beneath this calm exterior, humanity's greatest minds worked on projects that would reshape galactic warfare. Dr. Shin Hyojin reviewed the latest intelligence reports in her underground facility beneath the Swiss Alps. As Director of Human Strategic Intelligence, she knew more about alien military capabilities than most alien commanders knew about their own forces. The Vorthak are becoming suspicious of our expansion rate, reported Agent Kim Soo-jin. Their patrols have increased in the border regions. Expected, Dr. Shin replied calmly. Their aggression was always predictable. Have our deep cover agents reported any unusual fleet movements? Affirmative. The Vorthak Third Fleet has been conducting formation exercises near their home system. Admiral Song's predictions were correct. They're preparing for a major offensive. Dr. Shin smiled coldly. For 15 years she had studied every aspect of Vorthak military doctrine. She knew their tactics better than they did themselves. More importantly, she knew their weaknesses. Send a coded message to all colonial governors. Phase 2 of Operation Hanbok begins immediately. It's time to reveal what humanity has really been building. Throughout human space, the message spread, through quantum communication networks faster than light. On 17 different worlds, colonial administrators began activating hidden systems that had been waiting for this moment. Defense platforms emerged from underground bunkers. Civilian ships shed their cargo pods to reveal weapon arrays. Mining stations extended sensor arrays and powered up defensive shields. The transformation was invisible to alien observers, but devastating in its implications. Every human outpost, every research facility, every seemingly innocent civilian installation had been designed with one purpose: to defend humanity against any threat. Admiral Song received Dr. Shin's message while reviewing training reports on Luna. She walked to her office window and looked out at Earth one more time. In a few days, the Vorthak would discover what humanity had accomplished during 30 years of peaceful expansion. They had prepared for this moment since first contact with alien species. While other civilizations focused on trade and diplomacy, humans had quietly studied their new neighbors and planned for the worst possible scenarios. Every ship built, every base established, every technological advancement had been designed, with one question in mind: how do we protect humanity if someone tries to destroy us? Captain Lee approached with another report. Admiral, all colonial defense forces report ready status. Operation Hanbok is fully deployed and awaiting activation orders. Admiral Song nodded. Send a message to Ambassador Kim at the Galactic Council. Tell him the Vorthak are welcome to test humanity's resolve. We've been practicing for this moment our entire lives. The pieces were in place. Humanity's greatest gamble was about to begin. The Vorthak Third Fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Ross 128 system, like a pack of hunting predators. 300 warships materialized from the swirling energy of faster-than-light travel, their dark hulls bristling with weapons. Designed to crack planetary surfaces and boil away atmospheres. Supreme Commander Thexvar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the massive dreadnought Bloodclaw. His yellow eyes studied the tactical display showing the human colony world orbiting the small red star. New Sol appeared defenseless, protected by nothing more than a few orbital stations and civilian traffic moving between the planet and its 3 moons. Communications, open a channel to the human colony, Thexvar ordered. His voice carried the confidence of a predator who had cornered helpless prey. The main screen flickered to life, showing the face of a middle-aged human woman with short black hair and determined eyes. Governor Nam So-young sat behind her desk, in the Colonial Administration Building, appearing remarkably calm for someone facing imminent destruction. This is Governor Nam of New Sol Colony. State your business in our system, Vorthak Fleet. Thexvar's scales rustled with amusement. Governor Nam, I am Supreme Commander Thexvar of the Vorthak Third Fleet. You and your 2.3 million colonists have exactly 1 hour to evacuate this system before we begin orbital bombardment. Your illegal occupation of Vorthak territory ends today. Governor Nam leaned back in her chair, showing no sign of fear or panic. Supreme Commander, this system was legally surveyed and colonized according to Galactic Council regulations. We have all the proper documentation. Your documentation means nothing when faced with superior firepower. 1 hour, Governor. Use it wisely. The transmission ended, and Thexvar turned to his tactical officer. Deploy the fleet in standard bombardment formation. Target the major population centers first, then the industrial facilities. 300 Vorthak warships spread out across the system, their weapons charging and targeting systems locking onto the human world below. Each ship carried enough firepower to level a city. Together, they could turn an entire planet into molten rock within hours. On New Sol's surface, Governor Nam activated her emergency communication system. Admiral Song, this is New Sol Colony. The Vorthak fleet has arrived as predicted. The reply came instantly through the quantum communication network. Copy that, Governor. Confirm your population protection status. Governor Nam looked at her, displays showing the vast underground shelter network that honeycombed the planet's crust. Every human colony built these facilities as standard procedure, though alien observers assumed they were just mining operations. All 2.3 million civilians can be secured in hardened shelters within 25 minutes. Excellent. Operation Hanbok is now active. You may begin Phase 3 at your discretion. Governor Nam smiled for the first time since the Vorthak fleet arrived. She opened another communication channel, this one broadcasting on a frequency that would reach every hidden facility throughout the system. All stations, this is Colonial Command. The word is Hanbok. Repeat, Hanbok. All units are authorized to reveal themselves and engage hostile forces. Across the Ross 128 system, humanity's greatest deception began to unfold. What the Vorthak fleet thought were simple mining stations suddenly came alive with activity. Asteroid mining platforms split open like mechanical flowers, revealing massive weapon arrays that had been hidden within fake rock shells. Sensor dishes extended from camouflaged bunkers. Defense satellites that had been disguised as communication relays powered up their shields and weapon systems. The cargo vessels that had been moving peacefully through the system just minutes ago suddenly shed their outer hull sections. Beneath, the civilian disguise lay sleek warships equipped with the most advanced technology humanity had ever developed. Within seconds, 50 cargo haulers transformed into combat vessels, bristling with energy weapons and missile launchers. Captain Im Ge-young commanded the lead destroyer Taegukgi from her position on the bridge. Her ship had been disguised as a bulk ore carrier, slowly hauling processed metals toward the hyperspace jump point. Now its true nature was revealed, a predator designed to hunt much larger prey. All units, this is Raptor Leader, she announced, on the tactical frequency. The Vorthak want to see what humanity can do in a fight. I say we give them a proper demonstration. The human ships moved with a precision that shocked the Vorthak commanders. Instead of the clumsy maneuvering typical of most spacefaring species, they flowed through space like schools of fish, each vessel perfectly coordinated with all the others. Commander Bae Jun-ho led a squadron of fighters that launched from hidden bays built into the sides of what appeared to be communication satellites. His 12 ships moved in perfect formation, their advanced engines allowing maneuvers that would crush most alien pilots under crushing acceleration forces. Enemy flagship. This is Raptor Squadron Leader. He broadcast directly to Thexfar's dreadnought. You have one opportunity to surrender peacefully. Your ships are outmatched and surrounded. On the Bloodclaw's bridge, Thexfar stared at his tactical display in disbelief. What had appeared to be a defenseless human colony was actually a fully operational military base protected by weapon systems more advanced than anything in the Vorthak arsenal. How is this possible? He demanded of his tactical officer. Our intelligence reported this system contained only civilian installations. Sir, we're detecting massive energy signatures from at least 40 hidden installations throughout the system. The humans have weapon platforms built into asteroids, artificial gravity wells preventing hyperspace jumps, and defensive shields protecting their colony that registers stronger than our main battle fleet. Thexavar's yellow eyes narrowed as he watched human fighters dance through his fleet formations, somehow avoiding every shot his gunners fired while landing precise hits on Vorthak weapon systems. Launch all fighters. Prepare for full-scale combat. 2,000 Vorthak fighters swarmed from the fleet's launch bays, filling space with their angular shapes and energy weapon fire. But they found themselves facing an enemy that fought unlike anything they had ever encountered. The human defense network operated as a single organism. Every ship, every weapon platform, every sensor array shared information through quantum communication links faster than thought itself. When a Vorthak fighter fired at one human vessel, 12 others knew about it instantly and could coordinate their response. Captain Im's destroyer Taegukgi engaged 3 Vorthak cruisers simultaneously. Her ship's advanced shielding absorbed their energy weapon fire, while her own weapons targeted specific systems with surgical precision. Instead of trying to destroy the enemy vessels, she systematically disabled their engines, weapons, and life support systems. Vorthak cruiser Fang of Glory, this is Captain Im of the Human Defense Force. Your ship is disabled and your crew is in danger. Prepare to receive our medical teams for assistance. The Vorthak captain could barely believe what he was hearing. His ship had been completely neutralized, but the humans were offering medical aid instead of delivering a killing blow. Throughout the system, the pattern repeated itself. Human ships and weapon platforms methodically disabled Vorthak vessels, without destroying them. Advanced technology allowed precise targeting that left enemy crews alive, while eliminating their ability to fight. Commander Bay's fighter squadron surrounded a cluster of damaged Vorthak fighters whose life support systems had failed. Instead of finishing them off, human rescue ships moved in to evacuate the alien pilots to safety. Supreme Commander, reported Thexavar's communications officer, the humans are broadcasting medical assistance offers to all our damaged vessels. They're trying to save our crews. Thexavar watched his mighty fleet being systematically dismantled by an enemy that seemed more concerned with preserving life than winning a battle. In 30 minutes of combat, the humans had disabled over half his ships while suffering 0 casualties themselves. Sir, our hyperspace engines are being jammed by some kind of gravity field generator. We cannot retreat. The Supreme Commander finally understood the trap he had walked into. The humans hadn't just built a defensive network. They had created the most advanced military technology in the galaxy and hidden it in plain sight. His fleet was defeated. His crews were being rescued by the enemy, and he faced a choice between surrender or watching his remaining ships be disabled one by one. Open a communication channel to the human flagship, he ordered quietly. Captain Im's face appeared on his screen, her expression professional but not hostile. Supreme Commander, this is Captain Im of the Human Defense Force. Are you ready to discuss terms for your fleet's surrender? The Battle of Ross 128 lasted exactly 47 minutes and 12 seconds. When it ended, the most powerful fleet in Vorthak history floated helplessly in space, their ships disabled but their crews alive. Supreme Commander Thexavar stood on his bridge, watching human medical ships dock with his damaged vessels. The humans moved with the same deadly precision they had shown in combat, but now they used that skill to save lives rather than end them. Status report, he ordered his tactical officer, though he already knew the answer would be devastating. Sir, 247 of our ships have surrendered after being disabled. 53 vessels suffered critical damage to life support systems, but human rescue teams have evacuated all crew members safely. We have 0 casualties among our forces. Thexavar's scales rippled with confusion and humiliation. In his 1,000 years of military service, he had never heard of a battle where the losing side suffered no deaths. What are our weapon system status? All primary weapons offline. All secondary weapons offline. The humans used some kind of precision targeting system that destroyed our weapon arrays without damaging crew quarters or life support. It's like they knew exactly where to hit each of our ship designs. On the human destroyer Taigukgi, Captain Im Ga-young reviewed the battle reports with her tactical officer, Lieutenant Park Jin-woo. The young officer looked amazed by what their forces had accomplished. Captain, how did we achieve such precise targeting? The Vorthak ships used dozens of different designs, but our weapons found the critical systems on every single vessel. Captain Im smiled. Lieutenant, we've been studying galactic military technology for 30 years. Every ship design, every weapon system, every tactical doctrine. Our computers contain complete technical specifications for every vessel in that fleet. She gestured toward the main display showing the disabled Vorthak ships. Admiral Song's strategic planning included detailed analysis of potential enemy forces. We knew exactly how to disable each ship type with minimum damage to the crew. In another part of the battle zone, Commander Bae Jun-ho led his fighter squadron in search and rescue operations. His pilots had traded their weapons for medical equipment and emergency life support pods. Raptor 4, I've got a Vorthak fighter with failing oxygen systems, moving to assist. Copy that, Raptor leader. Rescue ship Mercy is en route to your location. Commander Bae guided his fighter alongside the damaged alien vessel. Through the cockpit window, he could see the Vorthak pilot struggling with his controls as his ship's systems failed around him. Without hesitation, Bae activated his ship's docking system and connected to the enemy fighter. Vorthak pilot, this is Human Commander Bae Jun-ho. I'm transferring emergency oxygen to your fighter. Medical assistance is 2 minutes away. The Vorthak pilot's voice came through the communication system, weak but surprised. You're helping me? After I tried to kill you? You were following orders from your commander. Now you need help. That's all that matters. Across the battlefield, similar scenes played out as human forces prioritized saving lives over celebrating victory. Medical ships moved between disabled vessels, treating injured aliens with the same care they would show to human casualties. On New Sol's surface, Governor Nam So-young watched the rescue operations through her command center's displays. Her colony had been threatened with complete destruction, but instead of seeking revenge, humanity was demonstrating its true values. Dr. Lee Min-ho, the colony's chief medical officer, approached her with a report. Governor, we're receiving over 3,000 injured Vorthak crew members. Our hospitals can handle the load, but we'll need to convert some civilian facilities into temporary medical centers. Do whatever is necessary, Doctor. These aliens came here to destroy us, but there's still patients who need our help. Admiral Song Mi-rae observed the battle's aftermath from her command center on Luna. The victory had exceeded even her optimistic projections, but the real test would come in how humanity handled its defeated enemies. Admiral, we're receiving communication requests from 17 different alien governments, reported her communications officer. Word of the battle is spreading throughout the galaxy faster than we expected. What kind of messages are we receiving? Mostly expressions of shock and disbelief. Several council members are asking if the reports are accurate. The Lumari representative specifically wants to know how we achieved such overwhelming technological superiority without anyone noticing. Admiral Song considered her response carefully. Humanity had just announced itself as a major galactic power, but how they handled the victory would determine whether other species saw them as protectors or conquerors. Send a message to all galactic governments. The text should read, Humanity acted in self-defense against unprovoked aggression. All enemy personnel are being treated according to galactic humanitarian standards. We seek peaceful relations with all species and request a formal council investigation into this attack. Back in the Ross 128 system, Supreme Commander Thexvar received an unexpected visitor. Captain Im had requested permission to come aboard. His flagship for face-to-face negotiations. The human captain walked onto his bridge wearing a simple gray uniform with no visible weapons. She moved with confident grace, showing no fear despite being surrounded by enemy aliens. Supreme Commander Thexvar, she said with a polite bow. I am Captain Imga Young of the Human Defense Force. I want to discuss the status of your fleet and crews. Thexvar studied the small human who had defeated his mighty armada. Captain Im, I do not understand your species. You had the power to destroy my entire fleet, yet you chose to disable our ships and save our lives. Why? Because destruction was never our goal, Supreme Commander. We prepared for this battle hoping we would never have to fight it. When you forced the conflict, we chose to end it as quickly and humanely as possible. But we came here to destroy your colony. We threatened to kill millions of your people. Captain Im nodded. Yes, you did, but your crews were following orders they believed to be legitimate. Punishing them for your commander's decisions would make us no better than the aggressors we defended against. She gestured toward the main display showing human medical ships, treating Vorthak casualties. Our goal is to build a galaxy where conflicts can be resolved without massive loss of life. Today's battle was a demonstration of that principle. Thexvar's yellow eyes narrowed as he began to understand the deeper implications of humanity's actions. You're sending a message to every species in the galaxy. You're showing them what you're capable of while demonstrating restraint. Very perceptive, Supreme Commander. Other alien governments are watching how this situation develops. They need to know that humanity can defend itself, but they also need to know we're not interested in conquest or revenge. The communication system crackled to life with an incoming message from Galactic Council headquarters. This is High Counselor Zephyrin calling for Supreme Commander Thexvar. Captain Im nodded to the Vorthak commander. You should take that call, Supreme Commander. But before you do, I want you to know that humanity holds no grudges against the Vorthak people. Your attack was ordered by your government, not chosen by individual soldiers. As Captain Im left his bridge, Thexvar realized he had learned something important about these strange humans. They fought with devastating efficiency when threatened, but they also showed mercy to defeated enemies in ways that few species would consider. The galaxy was about to discover that humanity's greatest strength was not their advanced technology or military skill. It was their ability to remain human even in the midst of war. 2 weeks after the Battle of Ross 128, the emergency session of the Galactic Council reconvened aboard Nexus Prime. The atmosphere in the Great Chamber had changed completely since the last meeting. Where before there had been casual dismissal of human capabilities, now there was tense respect mixed with barely concealed fear. Ambassador Hyunwoo Kim sat in the same chair he had occupied before, still wearing his simple dark suit and still holding his ceramic teacup. But now every alien representative watched his every movement with careful attention. The human who had seemed so ordinary just weeks ago was now the most important person in the room. High Counselor Zephyrin called the session to order, his insect-like mandibles clicking nervously. The Council will hear the report on the recent military action in the Ross 128 system. Counselor Veltara of the Lumari was the first to speak, her crystalline form flickering with agitation. Ambassador Kim, the Council demands an explanation. How did humanity develop such advanced military capabilities without our knowledge? Ambassador Kim set down his teacup and stood slowly. He looked around the chamber at faces that ranged from curious to terrified. Honorable Council members, humanity learned from our history. On Earth, we have an old saying, if you want peace, prepare for war. We prepared very thoroughly. Prepared? Squeaked the gaseous Netherian representative. You built the most advanced military force in the galaxy and hid it from everyone for 30 years. We hid nothing, Ambassador Kim replied calmly. Every installation we built was reported to the appropriate council departments. Every ship we constructed was registered according to galactic law. We simply didn't advertise our capabilities. Supreme Commander Thexvar sat in a special detention area, stripped of his military rank and facing charges of unprovoked aggression. His scales had lost their shine and his yellow eyes showed the weight of complete defeat. They turned their entire civilization into a military machine, he said bitterly. Every cargo ship was a warship. Every research station was a weapons platform. Every mining operation was a strategic base. Director Shin Hye-jin of Human Intelligence Services stood to address the council for the first time. She was a small woman with graying hair and sharp eyes that seemed to see everything. Supreme Commander, you misunderstand our approach. We didn't turn our civilization into a military machine. We simply applied military thinking to everything we built. She activated a holographic display showing the Ross 128 system. When we established colonies, we asked ourselves, how would we defend these worlds if someone attacked them? When we built cargo ships, we wondered, what if these vessels needed to fight for their lives? When we developed new technology, we considered, how could this help protect humanity? Counselor Veltara leaned forward in her crystal chair. But the level of coordination your forces displayed, your ships moved as if they shared a single mind. Quantum communication networks, Ambassador Kim explained. We developed instantaneous information sharing between all human military units. When one ship detects a threat, every ship in the fleet knows about it immediately. That's impossible, declared the Zephyrite military advisor. The processing power required would exceed the computational capacity of most civilizations. Dr. Park Soo-min, humanity's chief technology officer, smiled as she joined the discussion. You're thinking in terms of centralized computing systems. We used distributed processing across millions of human brains linked through neural interfaces. The chamber erupted in shocked murmurs. Several species had attempted to develop such technology, but the complexity had always proved insurmountable. You turned your entire population into a military computer network, asked the Lumari counselor. Not exactly, Dr. Park replied. We developed training programs that allowed human minds to process and share tactical information naturally. Every human who serves in our defense forces contributes to the collective intelligence of our military units. Ambassador Kim returned to his seat and picked up his teacup again. The technology is impressive, but it's not our greatest strength. Our real advantage is something much simpler. What could be simpler than the most advanced military technology in the galaxy? Demanded the Vorthak interim representative. Planning ahead, Ambassador Kim said quietly. While other species focused on immediate concerns like trade disputes and territorial claims, we thought about what might happen 50 or 100 years in the future. He gestured toward the detention area where Thexvar sat in disgrace. We knew that someday someone would decide humanity was growing too fast or becoming too successful. Someone would choose violence over diplomacy. So we prepared for that day. High Counselor Zephyrin spoke carefully, clearly aware that his next words could determine the future of galactic civilization. Ambassador Kim, what are humanity's intentions, now that your military capabilities have been revealed? The same as they have always been, High Counselor. We want to live peacefully among the stars, to learn from other species, and to contribute to galactic civilization. But we also want to make sure that no one can threaten our people with genocide ever again. The session continued for hours as council members asked detailed questions about human technology and capabilities. Ambassador Kim answered most inquiries with patience and honesty, though he declined to reveal certain classified information. As the formal proceedings ended, Counselor Veltara approached Ambassador Kim privately. Her crystal form pulsed with nervous energy as she spoke. Ambassador, may I ask you a personal question? Of course, Counselor. How long have you been planning for this moment? The battle, the revelation of your capabilities, this council session, it all seems perfectly orchestrated. Ambassador Kim smiled as he finished the last of his tea. Counselor, we've been planning since the day humanity first learned there were other intelligent species in the galaxy. Every decision we made, every technology we developed, every relationship we built was part of a long-term strategy to ensure our survival. But you've remained so humble, so peaceful, even now after demonstrating overwhelming military superiority. You're still drinking tea and speaking politely to people who wanted to destroy your colonies. Because that's who we are, Ambassador Kim replied simply. Strength without restraint is tyranny. Power without compassion is brutality. We developed the ability to defend ourselves, but we never forgot the values that make us human. Counselor Veltara studied the human ambassador's face, searching for any sign of deception or hidden agenda. She found only genuine sincerity. What happens now, Ambassador? How does the galaxy move forward knowing that humanity possesses such overwhelming technological advantages? Ambassador Kim stood and straightened his suit jacket. The same way it moved forward before, Counselor, through diplomacy, cooperation, and mutual respect. The only difference is that now everyone knows humanity can defend itself if necessary. As the alien representatives departed for their ships, many looked back at the human ambassador with new understanding. They had learned that appearances could be deceiving, that quiet preparation could be more effective than loud threats, and that true strength came from the wisdom to know when not to use overwhelming power. Over the following months, several alien governments requested military cooperation agreements with humanity. Others asked for access to human technology in exchange for resources and knowledge. A few species began developing their own hidden defense networks, inspired by humanity's example. The Vorthak Empire issued a formal apology and paid reparations for their unprovoked attack. Supreme Commander Thexvar was tried by his own people and sentenced to exile, though he publicly stated that his defeat had taught him valuable lessons about the dangers of underestimating peaceful civilizations. Ambassador Kim returned to his quarters on Nexus Prime and poured himself a fresh cup of tea. Through his window, he could see alien ships departing for their home systems, carrying news of humanity's revelation to every corner of the galaxy. The age of underestimating humanity was over. But the age of human leadership in galactic affairs was just beginning. As he sat quietly sipping his tea, Ambassador Kim allowed himself a small smile of satisfaction. 30 years of careful planning, preparation, and patience had paid off exactly as humanity had hoped. The galaxy was about to become a much more peaceful place because now everyone knew the cost of threatening those who were truly prepared for war.